dive into the intricate world of Australia's political landscape, where the power of lobbying and financial influence often holds sway. As we traverse this landscape, we'll encounter a system brimming with complexity, where major political parties vie for dominance. The issues are many and varied, from environmental concerns to economic policy, healthcare to education. In this grand political chessboard, the role of lobbying and financial contributions cannot be overstated. These powerful forces often shape the discourse, influencing policy decisions and legislative outcomes. Consider this: corporations, interest groups, and individuals pour vast resources into lobbying efforts, hoping to tilt the scales in their favor. Meanwhile, financial contributions from these entities can cloud the political waters, often blurring the line between public service and private interest. With such a complex web of influences at play, it's no wonder that the demand for comprehensive political reform is growing. After all, the future of Australia's democracy depends on it. Lobbying and financial contributions have a profound impact on the political landscape, often shaping policy and legislation. Let's delve into that. In the Australian political system, lobbying is an integral part of the decision-making process. It's a way for various interest groups, from corporations to non-profits, to voice their concerns directly to policymakers. However, the scale of lobbying can be staggering. It's not just about a few meetings or phone calls. It's about a constant, pervasive influence that shapes the political agenda. Now let's talk about financial contributions. They play a significant role in policy making. Why? Because money talks. Financial contributions, often in the form of donations to political parties or campaign funding, can influence the direction of policy and legislation. It's not always overt, but the impact is undeniable. To illustrate this, let's look at some real-life examples. Consider climate change policy. There have been instances where the interests of fossil fuel companies, who are big contributors to political parties, seem to have influenced the pace and direction of environmental legislation. This is not to say that all policy is swayed by corporate interests, but these examples highlight the potential for financial influence to shape the political landscape. This brings us to a crucial point: the erosion of public trust. When policy decisions appear to be swayed by financial contributions rather than the public interest, it can lead to a perceived lack of accountability. It can make citizens feel that their voices are drowned out by the sound of money changing hands. As we can see, the balance of power can be swayed by those with the deepest pockets, but remember, change is possible. And it starts with understanding the system, the next steps, highlighting effective strategies for reform and mechanisms for enhancing accountability, because together, we can make a difference. The need for comprehensive political reform is clear, but what might this look like in practice? As we delve into this topic, we must first understand that the key lies not only in legislative measures, but also in fostering transparency and encouraging public participation. Firstly, let's talk about the potential for legislative measures. The idea here is to place a cap on lobbying and financial contributions, thereby limiting the undue influence corporations can exert on policy making. This can be accompanied by stricter regulations on who can lobby, when, and how. The aim is to keep the playing field level, where the voice of every citizen, every organization, every interest group is heard equally, not drowned out by the loudest, wealthiest voices. The second crucial aspect is transparency and accountability in political funding. It's essential to know who is funding whom and for what purpose. This can be achieved through more rigorous disclosure requirements for political donations and expenditures, in essence, shining a light on the murky corners of political funding to reveal who holds the purse strings. But laws and regulations are only as effective as the people who uphold them. Therefore, we need to encourage public participation and engagement in the political process. This means making politics more accessible and understandable to the average citizen. It's about fostering a culture where people feel their voice matters, where they are empowered to hold their representatives accountable. In all of this, technology can play a pivotal role. Data analytics, for instance, can be used to monitor political contributions and influence, providing a more transparent and accountable system. Reform isn't just about changing laws, it's about empowering the public and restoring trust in the system. It's about creating a political landscape where the public good takes precedence over financial gains. This might seem like a tall order, but with a determined collective effort, it's well within our reach. After all, in the words of the famous African proverb, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Accountability is key to any effective political system, but how can we ensure politicians are held to account? Well, the answer lies in a multifaceted approach that incorporates oversight, ethical standards, and advanced technology. Let's delve into this. Firstly, independent oversight bodies and agencies play a crucial role. Just like a referee in a game, these bodies ensure that the rules are followed. They scrutinize politicians' actions, investigating any potential wrongdoing. By doing so, they provide a check on power and protect the public interest. However, for these bodies to be effective, they must be truly independent and immune to political pressure. But oversight alone isn't enough. Politicians themselves must adhere to stringent ethics and integrity standards. They should be guided by a moral compass that prioritizes public service over personal gain. These standards should be clearly defined, rigorously enforced, and crucially, transgressions should carry meaningful consequences. After all, a rule is only as good as its enforcement. Now, as we move further into the 21st century, technology and data analytics offer new possibilities for enhancing accountability. Sophisticated software can monitor political contributions, track lobbying activities, and flag potential conflicts of interest. This can provide a level of transparency hitherto unseen. But of course, such tools must be used responsibly, with respect for privacy and other fundamental rights. So, you see, accountability in politics is not a pipe dream. It's an achievable goal if we have the right mechanisms in place. It's about ensuring that those in power are answerable for their actions. It's about creating a political culture where integrity is the norm, not the exception. It's about using technology not just to make our lives easier, but to make our society fairer. With strong accountability mechanisms in place, we can start to rebuild public trust in our political system. And that's not just good for politics, it's good for us all. Because a political system that's accountable to the people is one that works for the people. And isn't that what democracy is all about? One of the biggest challenges in political reform is severing the link between corporate donations and policy making. This is not just about legislation, it's about a cultural shift. A shift towards public service and ethical leadership in politics. It's about politicians who are guided by the interests of the people they serve, not by the size of a corporation's wallet. This is not a utopian dream. There are countries where this kind of political culture is already taking root. Take Sweden, for instance. In Sweden, political donations from companies are not allowed. Instead, political parties are funded by the state and private citizens, ensuring that policymaking is free from corporate influence. This system has led to a high level of public trust in the political process, something that is sorely lacking in many other countries. Then there's Canada. While corporate donations are allowed, they are heavily regulated with strict limits and robust transparency requirements. This ensures that the public can easily track who is funding their politicians and how much they're contributing. These countries serve as case studies for how to effectively limit corporate influence in politics. But it's not just about copying what others are doing. Each country has its own unique political landscape and must find its own path to reform. However, there are some universal truths that apply. Transparency is key. The public has a right to know who is funding their politicians. Strict regulations and oversight are necessary to prevent abuses. And perhaps most importantly, there must be a cultural shift towards valuing public service and ethical leadership over financial gain. This is not an easy task. It requires a concerted effort from all sectors of society, from politicians to the public, from corporations to the media. But the rewards are worth it. A political system that truly serves the people, not the highest bidder. By putting public interest over financial gains, we can ensure a political system that truly serves the people. So what's the end goal of all this? What does a reformed political system look like? Our vision for a reformed political system is one where the public good takes precedence over financial gains. It's a system where the voices of everyday citizens are not drowned out by the thunderous sound of money. We envisage a system that is transparent, accountable, and free from the influence of big money. A system where policy decisions are based on the needs of the many, not the wants of the few. We see a system where politicians are held to the highest ethical standards and where integrity is valued above all else. A system where the link between corporate donations and policymaking is severed, and where public service is more than just a catchphrase. This is our vision, this is our goal, and it's achievable. Together, we can make a difference and create a political system that truly serves its people.